In the NBA, everyone talks about the stars, the MVPs, the All-NBA guys, the faces of the league. But what about the bench? These are the second units that didn't just sub in, they took control. They closed games, they changed series, and in some cases, they made history. But what made these benches so good? So good that they could have been starters for another team? Well, first let's go back to the 2015 Golden State Warriors. This team wasn't just revolutionizing the NBA with pace and space, they were redefining what depth looked like. While most teams had a short leash on their rotations, Golden State played 10 to 11 deep every night, and didn't lose a beat when the starters sat. Steve Kerr's strength in numbers philosophy wasn't a tagline. It was how the Warriors overwhelmed teams for 4 straight quarters. Their bench averaged over 36 points per game, ranked top 5 in the league. But here's what made them special. They didn't just maintain leads, they built them. They gave the Warriors multiple ways to win, and forced opponents to adjust even when Steph and Klay were off the floor. Let's talk about the core. Andre Iguodala, a former All-Star and Olympic gold medalist, willingly came off the bench for most of the season. He became the Warriors' most versatile defender, the connector on offense, and the Finals MVP after guarding LeBron James for 6 straight games. Shaun Livingston brought order and mismatch control. No three-point shot? No problem. He punished smaller guards from the elbow with a mid-range game that was nearly automatic. He averaged just under 6 points per game, but his impact was measured in momentum control. Leandro Barbosa, the Brazilian blur, brought instant pace and energy. He wasn't just a change of speed, he was a change of rhythm. His ability to push tempo and attack early gave Golden State a second wind, even when the starters were cold. Maurice Speights was their wild card, a scoring big who averaged 10.4 points in just 15 minutes a night during the regular season. He was one of the most efficient reserve scorers in the league through the first half of the year. And then there was David Lee. Just 2 seasons removed from averaging 8 and 10, Lee quietly accepted a smaller role. He didn't complain, he stayed ready, and when he was called upon in the finals, he delivered key minutes in games 3 and 4, helping shift the momentum in Golden State's favor. Game 4 of the Western Semis versus Memphis was a turning point. The starters struggled early. The Warriors were down 13 in the second quarter. Kerr returned to his bench. Livingston, Iguodala, and Speights came in, and within 5 minutes, the deficit was gone. It wasn't just a spark, it was a proof of concept. Golden State could win without the Splash Brothers dominating, and that made them terrifying. In the finals, Iguodala replaced Bogut in the starting 5 mid-series, turning the bench-heavy death lineup into a weapon that ended Cleveland's hopes. Golden State didn't just win with talent, they won with depth, trust, and sacrifice. Their second unit had a higher net rating than 17 starting lineups that year. And when your 6th man wins Finals MVP, the message is clear. You don't just have a bench, you have another starting 5 ready to finish the job. The 2010-11 Dallas Mavericks were never supposed to win at all. They weren't young, they weren't flashy, and they definitely weren't the favorites. But while the media focused on the Heat's Big 3, Dallas quietly built one of the most effective bench units in modern playoff history. Let's start with the numbers. The Mavs' second unit led the entire NBA in bench scoring, averaging over 40 points per game. That's not just rare, that's title-contending fuel. And they weren't just scoring. Dallas bench logged nearly 100 combined minutes per game, had the highest bench plus-minus in the league, and consistently swung the momentum of tight playoff battles. But here's the question. How did a group of veterans and overlooked pieces outplay the best teams in the league and outscore the entire starting lineups in the postseason? Let's break it down. Jason "Jet" Terry wasn't just a 6th man, he was a closer. He averaged 15.8 points on 45% shooting, hit big shots in every round, and set a playoff record with 368 points off the bench. Terry's confidence was infectious. He had the skill of a starter with a mentality of someone who knew the job wasn't finished until the buzzer sounded. Against the Lakers in the second round, Terry erupted for 32 points and 9 threes in Game 4, tying an NBA playoff record for threes in a single game. That night, the Mavs bench outscored the entire Lakers roster. That wasn't just dominance. It was a statement. JJ Barea might have been the smallest guy on the court, but he caused some of the biggest problems. His relentless dribble penetration shattered defensive schemes and forced rotations that Miami and LA simply couldn't contain. In the finals, Barea's ability to get 2 feet in the paint changed the geometry of every possession. During the finals, Miami's bigs were pulled away from the basket, the corners opened, and shooters like Dirk had clean looks all series long. Peja Stojakovic, acquired mid-season, gave Dallas another reliable shooter who needed almost no space to launch. In games 3 and 4 against the Lakers, Peja knocked down 11 threes, punishing every defensive collapse. At age 33, Peja wasn't just spacing the floor, he was tilting entire playoff games. Behind them, Brendan Haywood and Ian Mahinmi handled the dirty work: rim protection, screens, defensive anchors. They absorbed physical minutes so Dirk could rest or roam. They weren't flashy, but they were necessary, and they bought Dallas time every single night. Game 4 versus the Lakers is where it all peaked. Dallas completed the sweep by scoring 86 bench points, a number that matched the entire Lakers team. That game felt like a passing of the torch. The defending champions were outpaced, outplayed, and overwhelmed by a unit no one had seen coming. Coach Rick Carlisle deserves credit too. He didn't just rotate, he trusted. He let Terry and Barea close games, even in the finals. He adjusted lineups by flow, not ego. And that decision-making made Dallas adaptable, unpredictable, and ultimately unstoppable. In the finals, Dallas often closed with 3 guards on the floor: Kidd, Terry, and Barea, flanking Dirk, who operated in space. That lineup punished Miami's help defense, spread the floor, and gave Dallas multiple closers. This wasn't just a great bench. It was a difference between Dallas being a playoff team and a championship team. Depth isn't about replacing talent. It's about sustaining identity when your stars rest. This group never tried to imitate Dirk, they just did their jobs and did them better than anyone else in the league. While Miami was still figuring out how to play together, Dallas had role players who already knew what was required, and they executed like veterans with everything to gain and nothing to prove. When we talk about the 2011 Mavericks, Dirk's finals performance is the headline. But look closer. The engine behind the run? It was a 40-point night shift, a second unit that started games on the bench and ended them from the floor. When Boston formed their Big Three in 2007, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, the focus was obvious: 3 future Hall of Famers chasing a ring. But what people overlook is how complete this team really was. Behind the stars was a bench unit built for control. Not just to maintain momentum, but to finish games with discipline, defense, and detail. This wasn't just a bench that looked for headlines. They were the ones who held leads steady, closed quarters, and provided the glue between highlight plays and championship execution. So, who were these glue guys? Let's start with James Posey. He was the steady hand. He brought championship pedigree from Miami and became the Celtics' most trusted wing defender. In the postseason, Posey averaged nearly 25 minutes per game, guarded the opponent's top perimeter threats, and hit momentum-swinging threes, including clutch shots in the Eastern Finals and NBA Finals. He didn't need the ball, he just needed an assignment, and he always delivered. Eddie House provided instant spacing, a pure shooter with a quick release and zero hesitation. House shot 44% from 3 in the playoffs, often catching fire in second quarter stretches when the starters rested. He gave Boston a release valve against trapping defenses. If a possession broke down, all they needed was one swing to Eddie. Leon Poe added a physical edge in the front court. He wasn't flashy, he was force. In Game 2 of the NBA Finals, he scored 21 points in just 15 minutes, attacking the Lakers relentlessly and getting to the line 13 times. That wasn't just production, that was tone setting. It shifted the series' physicality and exposed LA's lack of interior depth. Before he was first-team All-Defense, Tony Allen was already making life difficult for opposing scorers. He came off the bench for 15 to 20 minutes a night and was trusted to guard LeBron James in the second round, and Kobe in the finals, giving Boston another strong, disruptive option in any lineup. His energy on the defensive end helped the Celtics maintain their identity, even when the starters sat. And then there was PJ Brown, signed late in the season at age 38. Many thought he was there to be a locker room presence, but when it mattered, he was more than that. In Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit, Brown hit a critical baseline jumper late in the fourth quarter, the dagger that pushed Boston into the finals. Their defining moment came in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Boston trailed the Lakers by 24 points in the first half. Doc Rivers turned to his bench, Posey, House, Poe, and trusted them to lead the comeback. They delivered. Boston stormed back with a 21-point turnaround, completing what was then the largest comeback in the NBA Finals history. Posey defended Kobe, House spaced the floor, Poe punished the paint, and by the time the starters returned, the tone was already set. This Celtics team had star power at the top, but their bench was what made them whole. Every piece had a purpose, every rotation had a role. And when the pressure rose, three reserves closed one of the most important games in franchise history. This wasn't just depth, it was design. The Celtics didn't just have a bench, they had answers on both ends of the floor in every moment that mattered. Three different teams, three different eras, one lesson. Sometimes it's not who starts a game, it's who finishes it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and drop a comment. Which bench unit would you trust to close a Game 7? Thanks for watching!